Chapter 9, Present Indicative Middle. We're going to be looking at the middle voice now, and thus far we've been working only with the active. The middle voice represents the subject as acting with some kind of reference to himself or herself. That does not mean that it's reflexive. So the middle is referencing the subject as acting for his own interest in some way. And in the textbook, we are given an example, agorazo, which means I buy. And if we're going to put it in the middle voice and say agorazomai, that is meaning I buy for myself. Now the middle voice doesn't really tell you precisely how the subject is acting with reference to himself. That is determined by the meaning of the verb itself and in the context of what you're reading it in. There is a video that I'll try to link here, which gives a pretty good description of the middle voice. Granted, this professor is teaching more of an Attic Greek course, but in terms of explaining the middle, he does a pretty good job, and so I'm just going to point you to that video to listen to what he has to say about the Greek middle voice. Now, Mr. Davis in Part B, he does tell us that it is kind of impossible to translate the exact shade of meaning given by the middle, and again, it's related to the verb that you're using. And the only way to really get a grasp and understand what that means is to start working with some of these verbs in the middle voice. Now here we're moving on to conjugating a verb in the present indicative middle, and we are giving the word luo for I wash. I've got my index card all ready to go. And remember, here's just a view of our present indicative active card. Lego, leges, lege, legamen, legete, legusi. So now we're moving on to the middle. Luomai, lue, luitai, luamatha, lueste, luantai. And then we're looking at the infinitive middle, luesthai. Observe that the appended translation is the direct middle. Agorazomai, I buy for myself. The indirect middle would be seen. I wash myself is pretty direct. It's a direct middle. If I'm buying something for myself, I can see how that would kind of be an indirect middle. So now we're going to look into why do we have this weird ending here that doesn't match, okay? Why do we have this? So the text is going to explain that to us. So if we were to spell them out directly, we would get mai, saitai, methasle, ntai. So why do we have this change to an eta? Got our thematic vowel put in for omai, esai, etai, amatha, esthe, antai. Now we're going to make some observations of luo. In the second person singular, we have lue, which is for luasai. And the eta with the subscript is arising because some of these letters are contracting and dropping out. The sigma is going to drop out, and then there's a contraction of the vowels that are remaining. AI in these personal endings is considered short, hence the accent is on the antepenult. The thematic vowel omicron and epsilon is found as in the active voice when we're working with the middle. As you can see, we've put in the letters, the thematic vowels here. And then again, the infinitive ending is sthai, and the AI there is considered to be short. And we're given some vocabulary words to kind of get a sense for the middle. I still am going to write these down on my vocabulary card in the exercise, but we have agorazo, hapto, luo, nipto, pa'o, fulaso. And those are going to translate into the middle voice as agorazomai, haptomai, luomai, niptomai, pa'omai, fulasomai. Any verb may be used in the middle voice. Now we're up to the exercise, so let's get ready for that.